hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. And can you believe what we witnessed yesterday? Can you actually believe what in goddamn earth we witnessed yesterday? Arsenal totally annihilated Real Madrid, the Royal Club. Royal Club, who has the biggest pedigree in Champions League imaginable. They came to the Emirates and they just got annihilated. Total domination, to some extent humiliation. We absolutely destroyed them. Maybe not in the first half per se, because in the first half we had chances, but also they had chances, and if they scored first, probably would have gone a bit different. But the second bloody half, that was something special. Something special. We did not allow them to do much. We pushed forward. We went for it. We saw our opportunity. Declan Rice. Bend it like Declan. Declan Beckham Rice. Beckham Rice. The most expensive rice in the whole world. Scores two of the best free kicks I have seen in a very long time. And then, of course, Merino tops it all off with 3-0. Phenomenal finish. The way he had to shape his body, his foot from the pass from Skelly and everything, just fantastic. And I'm not gonna lie, a guy who has never played the striker pretty much is doing 10 times better than Kai Havertz, ironically enough. But it doesn't stop there. It genuinely doesn't stop there. Camavinga got a red card, so he's not playing against us at the Bernabeu. Let's be real. On top of all that, it could have been more. It actually could have been more. It could have been 5-6-0. Easily. And it's just because of Thibaut Courtois in the goal. They managed somehow to scrape the 3-0. And it sounds very nuts when you say it, but hey, it is what it is. And we're gonna talk about all that today. We're gonna deep dive into it straightforward, and it's gonna be insane, to say the least. It genuinely gonna be insane. We beat Real Madrid 3-0. Still feels like a dream. I'm not gonna lie, still feels like a dream to some extent. But hey, I guess dreams tend to come true. So the next dream is the final against Barcelona, where we take our revenge for the 2006 final. But obviously, let's put some balance on things. Cannot get carried away. There is still second leg. Yes, we are in a very insanely good position to advance, to go through, to win, and to go into semifinals. However, it's still Real Madrid, it's still Bernabeu, and to some extent, if there is a team you would put money on to come back for a win from these situations, it is Real Madrid. And weirder things have happened in football. Teams have come back from 3-0, 4-1 down, stuff like that. So you never can be 100% sure. But if we score at the Bernabeu at some point, most likely it is going to be done. We haven't conceded more than 2 goals, what it feels like, in about 50,000 years. So yeah, Real Madrid to some extent have a very tough mountain to climb. Very steep mountain to climb. And I hope we make it even steeper when we go there. And I kid you not, score a goal at the Bernabeu once again. And again, Arsenal still 3 games against Real Madrid, have scored 4 goals, and haven't conceded any, ironically enough. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? But yeah, so, you know the drill. Like the stream, smash the thumbs up for the Arsenal win if you're buzzing, if you're excited, if you're over the moon. Hit the subscribe button if you're new around here and also excited about the win. Lots and lots more to come. And of course, leave your thoughts down in the live chat below. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see what's gonna happen. So yeah, today we're gonna talk about all Real Madrid. So let's do this because that is something I never thought I would make a stream about. Never in my wildest dreams I thought we actually could dominate Real Madrid, and to such an extent that Real Madrid fans have lost their head. They want half the team sold. Ancelotti gone. Arsenal fans are over the moon. Not even the tippity top of the toppest top gooners would have imagined this and could have predicted this. And to make even things even more insane, the amount of hate-alongs I saw today and yesterday, the clips today of course and yesterday as well, it was beautiful to drink in their tears because that was just fantastic. Sorry. Anyhow, big up Nathan. Big up Nathan. You know, I'm buzzing, dude. I am still buzzing and I'm still over the moon to say the least because that is something unbelievable. Prime Declan Super Lampard Rice is here. Exactly. Big up Marlon. Big up my guy. And Merino has turned into a prime R9 and Rice into Lampard. It feels that way. Genuinely, Declan Rice somehow became David Beckham and Merino turned into R9. Although I hope Merino doesn't turn into R9 to some extent because R9 is one of those insane footballers who have never won a Champions League, ironically enough. They have never, ever won Champions League. So I hope that isn't in Merino cards. Anyways, 3-0. Declan Rice with 2 mind-blowing, fantastic free kicks. One better than the other. That was insane. And Merino, of course, tops it all up. But yeah, 3-0. Game said and done to some extent. The tie is still a bit in the air. I would say about 3% chance Real Madrid goes through. But definitely they have pretty much impossible odds to climb. And let's be real, how we did it is also a very big task because the team we put out there is nowhere near our best team. Let's be real. Gabriel is out with a hamstring injury. We saw it in the stands. Ben White wasn't fully fit. He came on late as a sub. Saka has just come back from the injury. And he looked fantastic. Let's be real, Bukayo Saka just came back from injury 2 weeks ago and he looked like a world beater. He was cooking Alaba left, right and center and you could see how when he cut on the outside on his right foot, you could genuinely see that he got the best of him. He was crossing the ball and the only issue is we didn't have a striker there to finish it off because that driven cross across the goal, it just was asking for a tap and unfortunately nobody was there. But ultimately, it was utterly insane to say the least. Anyways, as well, we are without Havertz, as much as people like or don't like him. We are without Tomiyasu still, and many players didn't see the pitch, but let's be real. Let's be real. One of the main guys yesterday, Jakub, man like Jakob's Kronon Coffee, Jakub Kivior, one misplaced kick in the beginning of the game. Since then, chef's kiss. And genuinely didn't even notice that we were missing Gabriel. Credit where credit is due. I had lots of doubts, lots of issues with Gabriel, with Kivior playing, and I thought it will be nuts. But he held his own. He was one of the man of the hours yesterday. One of the 11 guys on the pitch. Well, 10 technically if you don't count Odegaard because he was useless. But overall, yeah, Kivior, he really surprised me yesterday. He has these games in him. And in one-off games, you can have these blinding games as well. Credit where credit is due. He was quite fantastic yesterday. Big up Hendon Gunnar, dropping in to say hi and spread the love. Big up. Off to watch the Villa PSG match and the Barcelona match. Ciao for now. Enjoy the football. I'm gonna do the stream and then gonna go for the second half. Watch those games as well. But yeah, Kivior yesterday. That was actually quite insane. Quite insane what we saw because he started as a center back. First kick of the game, I felt he kind of, you could see the nerves. He miskicked the ball. It almost resulted in a very dangerous chance and everything. But after that, he was fantastic. He was passing, he was defending. The thing is, biggest worry was that he will get bodied by the team. Because we have seen this in Premier League with Beto, with other players, and here nobody bodied him. Nobody absolutely bodied him. He was fantastic. I thought as well that Saliba will have to do some extra job, look after him. He didn't. He totally could have trusted him. He was fantastic. Genuinely, credit where credit is due. Kivior yesterday was one of the main guys. He was fantastic. And obviously, for me personally, as Nathan is saying, so many players could be man of the matches, right? Obviously, for me, it's Declan Rice, without shadow of a doubt, right? But overall, for the team performance, I'm not gonna lie, Rice, Merino, Partey, Timba, Saliba, even Kivior, and of course Miles Lewis Skelly. It was actually absolutely insane. Kivior was. I'm talking about Kivior right now, obviously, and he actually blended in into the team. I was a bit worried that, for example, Kivior left center back, Skelly left back, 18, inexperienced. Occasion might get to him, and they might target that side. And none of that happened. Miles Lewis Skelly genuinely put everyone in their places, and Kivior just pick it where he left off. It's quite fantastic, and it's quite insane that we actually did it. Yeah, Miles Lewis Skelly was fantastic, and Partey as well. Partey showed levels. This is the Partey we want to see. If he doesn't get injured, let's be real. There is a very strong argument for Arsenal to do everything they can in their power to keep Thomas Partey. There is strong argument for him to do everything they can to keep Thomas Partey, because if he plays like this, even as a squad player, he's fantastic. These performances just makes you wonder that when you watch other teams play, is there another player who could replicate to some extent even improve on this performance yesterday and carry us over the line in that sixth spot? Is there a number 6 in the world football available for Arsenal currently? That is the big question for me. And to some extent there isn't. That is the big thing. There actually isn't. Partey 1-year extension, never thought I'd say it, exactly, same. I thought Partey is gone, yes, injuries potentially could be coming back next year, given the amount he has played now, age and everything, but 1-year extension, decreased salary from 200 and something grand to about 150, 130, why not? If he wants to stay, make him. Why the hell not? That was the Partey I would love to see every single game. And we played yesterday like we cannot play in Premier League. Everyone in Premier League parks the bus against us. In Champions League, Real Madrid, they were attacking, they were trying to defend, doing everything. And Arsenal just played their game, didn't allow the occasion get to them, didn't allow Real Madrid to get to them, didn't allow any provocations get to them, the dark arts and all this, and they came out on top. And dominantly came out on top, by the way. It's not like it was a scraped win. It was convincing performance. And this is where Mikel Arteta gets massive credit. He set up the team perfectly. The tactics were fantastic. We pressed when we needed to press. We dropped down to defend and in lower blocks when we had to. Martinelli was supporting Skelly like crazy as well, and it worked out fantastically well. Kivior was in his place. Timber was fantastic. Saliba, Gabriel Rice, Partey, they were fantastic. Nobody was out of the place, besides, unfortunately, Odegaard, who again went missing and was thinking of the joint. That is the biggest issue. Oh, but he ran his socks off and everything. Still, yeah, it wasn't it. Arguably, from all the players in the team, he was the black sheep. Let's just put it that way. But overall, yeah, credit where credit is due to Mikel Arteta for yesterday. Because the first half, 0-0, could have gone either way. We could have scored, they could have scored. But what he did in second half, how he changed the game, some minor adjustments, we kept playing our style, our game. Saka got the 2 fouls on him from Alaba and Camavinga. Declan Rice converts them both. Saka with one leg is better than pretty much all our attack, what it feels like. It was actually insane. It's something from this unimaginable dream scenarios. It's one of those performances you dream to have, but never tend to witness. And that was yesterday's performance. Obviously, cannot get carried away because there's the second leg still, right? But if Real Madrid keep playing like this, like they did yesterday, obviously they're gonna go out. But they're definitely not gonna. They're gonna be different at Bernabeu. Let's be real. There's gonna be their fans, the occasion. They're gonna be on their case, and we will see different Real Madrid. So we need to be on top of our game as well there. But overall, yeah, as I said, credit to Mikel Arteta. Squad selection was perfect. Tactics was perfect in the first half. Adjustments for the second half were phenomenal. And at the end of the game, 3-0. It was blindly fantastic. Let's be real. credit where credit's due to Mikel Arteta and Kivior as well, let's be real. It was actually kinda nuts. Merino was as well fantastic. Yes, he might, obviously he's not a striker. We see that on the pitch with certain touches, certain moves, where a proper striker would, for example, drop a shoulder and sprint into space to unleash a shot. He does something different because being a striker is not his thing. So to some extent, on a defender who defends against strikers and knows what to expect, it's unexpected for him, and it actually works in our favor in that regard. Madrid were like statues. Yeah, they were watching us play exactly. As soon as we scored that first goal, you could see their hands basically dropped. Second goal came soon afterwards. Then the third one as well. Like, Real Madrid don't press. At least the front line don't press, and it showed. It genuinely showed. Arsenal press and defend with the whole team. And this was one of those games where, as much as we like to, and not like to, but as much as we, for example, judge and call out Mikel Arteta, that he attacks with 11 men and defends with 11 men, right? And it kind of runs our players into ground and it causes injuries and all this stuff. In games like these, it's the perfect way to play. Let's be real, it is the perfect way to play. And it worked out in our favor, so credit where credit is due. Real Madrid don't press in general. They don't press in La Liga. They don't press in Champions League. It gave us the chance to get the ball, to pass it around, to play our game. And they basically played in our hands. And that was quite amazing to see. I'm quite shocked, to be honest. For example, that Ancelotti, even already in the first half, didn't take off David Alaba. Because Alaba has come recently back from an injury. Saka, with one leg, pretty much was cooking him left, right, and center. And how didn't he do that is actually kind of insane, and it worked in our favor as well. So, lots of questions, lots of answers still needed to be gone and everything. Lots of questions needed to be answered, but at the end of the day, it was 3-0. Genuinely 3-0. The second goal, like clearance, two goal line clearances and Courtois. So yeah, exactly, because without Courtois, it could have been 5-0. 6-0 potentially. The goal line clearances as well included into that. So let's be real. If there is no Courtois on those goal line clearances, it's 5-6-0. The tie is over. Real Madrid come home and they basically get, I don't know, bashed with tomatoes, with rotten tomatoes by the fans. It actually would be insane. 3-0, yes, it's a great lead. Let's not get carried away. There's still the second leg and anything can happen. We have seen it. So obviously, it's a fantastic, so time only will tell, but it's actually quite nuts. Without Courtois, Real Madrid would not be still in this tie. They are not in a big way, but they still are to some extent. If there was no Courtois, it would be worse. Let's just put it that way. Big up, Mike. Big up. The way Arteta used was so good. He knows Rudiger and Asensio like to be physical with the striker, so Merino is playing like it. Yeah. He was playing. Merino wasn't playing as an out-and-out number 9. I'm kind of interested why he used me. Pause. Right? Why Arteta used me? But hey, it is what it is. I get you that you mean Merino. But Merino didn't play as a number 9. He wasn't playing up top, and he wasn't even playing as a 10 down, dropping deeper. He was playing in these half spaces between the striker and the number 10. He was playing in those lines by dragging defenders a bit more out of position, making them focus their attention to different things they don't usually do. And it opened up space for Martinelli on the left, who was actually very good yesterday, to Saka on the right, for Rice to make final runs. And we also, when we crossed the ball, when Timber crossed the ball, Partey crossed the ball, Saka crossed the ball, who was up top? It wasn't Merino, it was Declan Rice. So the way Arteta actually out-tactic Ancelotti is kind of insane. That was very, very, very unexpected yesterday. It is actually kind of nuts, to say the least. But yeah, Declan Rice won man of the match, so let's be real, he deserved it. I won the whole squad rest. That's the thing. See, you said that I won the whole squad rest. We don't have enough players to rest the whole squad. Unless we play like Nichols and players like that from the under-21s. We don't have a whole squad to rest. We can play Sterling, we can play Oyedeji, Kabia, Vanieri, Salamahand, players like that. Obviously, Tierney as a left back potentially, Zinchenko, Jorginho, and that's about it. We don't have players to rotate the whole squad. The big issue is that the defense is one of the biggest drawbacks. You don't have no one to rotate on defense. That is the big problem for me. I would assume Ben White is going to start against Brentford because he needs some more game time. So time will tell. I think we have wing back options. Center back options are pretty much non-existent for us to rotate anymore. That is a big issue. What was Ancelotti thinking? Modric the tracking Rice? Yeah, that was a weird one. I would have expected Camavinga or someone or Valverde to track him, but it was a bit different, wasn't it? It was a bit different, wasn't it? And to be honest, we saw that Ancelotti made some weird decisions. He started David Alaba as a left back, right? And Jude was playing as a left mid, kinda. He was trying to help Alaba out. Let's be real. And that means that they don't have the attacking influence from Bellingham going forwards. And that leaves Vinicius Jr. alone on the forward line, playing left wing striker situation in double striker formation, 4-4-2 and everything. So I think Ancelotti screwed up big time with the tactics and the formation. We'll see what he's gonna do at the Bernabeu, but for this game he totally and utterly screwed it up, in my opinion. And obviously Mikel Arteta took the best advantage possible of that. And that is very big credit to Mikel Arteta. Perfect game plan, perfect execution, and perfect result. Let's be real. So that was kind of insane. So we'll see what's going to happen at Bernabeu. But oh my goodness, are we in a good position to get into semifinals? We are in a prime spot to be in the semifinals. And I like that we put some very rough tackles on Modric early in the game. He went, yeah, like, see, in La Liga they kind of get a bit more time. It's more technical. So he kind of get away with stuff, but if with the way our Arsenal played, when they pressed at the right time, dropped back at the right time, they kind of had the right balance in that regard. It threw Madrid a bit off, and it completely disrupted their rhythm. And especially when they just received the ball, one rough tackle and it throws them off balance, and it was like that almost the whole game, and it worked. It utterly disrupted them. The only right back who can do that, Timber, is Koundé. To some extent, yeah. And I would actually argue that Timber is better defensively than Koundé as well. So we really have a gem of a player in our team. That is the big thing. We really, 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 really have a massive gem of a player in the team. So that is, for Arsenal, that is a very, very, very good thing. Let's just put it that way. Saliba as well. Saliba was quite silent for Saliba, kind of, in the game. But he did the job. He did the right things. He did it at the right time. Also didn't put a foot wrong, so he was really, really in the right mindset as well. I think our team, one of the biggest questions, to be honest, for this game was, has our team learned anything from the last year, from the games against Porto and from the games against Bayern Munich? And based on what we saw yesterday, it definitely looks that way. It definitely looks that our players have learned how to deal with emotions, how to keep leveled head psychologically and mentally, and how to play their own game, not to rush it, not to do anything. So it was very nice to see that our team on some aspect has grown in that regard, definitely. When do the yellow cards restart? I think after quarterfinals. Don't? I think so. So that when they play semifinals, there's less of a chance that some players miss the finals. Let me Google this. Yeah, yellow cards in 2025 Champions League reset after quarterfinals. The bookings are not carried over to semifinals or the final, solely for the sheer purpose that the best players that get one yellow in a semifinal can also play in the final. So basically, we need to avoid any possible yellow card imaginable on next week. That is basically the case. Let's just put it that way. We need to avoid every single possible yellow card. We have a few players who are on the brink of that, so we definitely need to be very careful. But to be honest about yesterday, right? credit where credit is due. As I said, our team has grown mentally, right? And also the game vision and gameplay wise, that none of the players got the yellow cards that were at the risk of missing the second leg against Real Madrid. That already was a big plus. Hopefully they can replicate that for the second leg so they don't miss also start of the semifinals, because our squad is already as thin as it is. And if like a very important player gets the second yellow, then it could be very peak. Obviously we can replace Skelly, we can replace Timba potentially, but we cannot replace certain let's just say Rice, we cannot replace him, we cannot replace Party, we cannot replace Martinelli and players like that. So definitely it's gonna be a rough one. Yeah, Rice is one away. And not just Rice, I think Timber as well and Martinelli as well. They all are one away, so fingers crossed. What do you think of another game? Kane was missing Sears, first of all, so that is the Spursy curse working there. The big thing is, the game went the way Inter Milan wanted. Inzaghi coached the perfect game plan to go to Bayern Munich, again to Germany, and to play against Munich, and to bring home the advantage. Because we all know that Inter Milan are very resilient defensively, and they don't need to attack anymore. And that means that Bayern Munich is gonna push forward, which gives gaps for players like Cuadrado, players like Lautaro Martinez, to Thuram and others to counter them, catch them out. And I think if Inter Milan score a quick goal or one on the counter in early stages of the first half, I think the tie will be over then. Lautaro's performance was world class. Company got schooled. Yeah, Company absolutely got schooled. First Champions League quarterfinals for Company as the manager, obviously. It's not the same as coaching Burnley, is it? Or Anderlecht or someone like that. It's not definitely the same. So, welcome to the big leagues, I guess. Yeah, Sane is washed. I'm telling you, I don't want Sane at Arsenal, yet Sane scores 2 goals in a game in Bundesliga, and all of a sudden every single top gooner wants Sane at Arsenal. Make it make sense. Like, Sane is not it anymore. He hasn't been it for the last 2 years, maybe 3. And I don't want him at Arsenal whatsoever. I'm just gonna put it that way. He is not it. He genuinely is not it, and he is not the one Arsenal, in my opinion, need. And another guy, 18 years old. 18 years old. What can we say about Miles Lewis Skelly? It's actually kind of insane, because it's very hard to imagine things that you can say about him. Very hard. Like that. Yeah, exactly. Champions League quarterfinal assist to Merino's goal as well. Exactly. And I read some Real Madrid fan tweets. I saw some interviews with Real Madrid fans after the game from Madrid. Yeah. And even Madrid fans said it's actually scary how good Miles Lewis Skelly is for his age. He should not be playing the level he's playing right now, at least ability-wise, that he is. He should not be this ready for this level at this stage. That's what Real Madrid fans were thinking of Miles Lewis Skelly. And let's be real, Real Madrid fans have seen some phenomenal wingbacks at their club at the time. Starting with Carvajal, Marcelo, Roberto Carlos, and other Salgado and Capdevilla and others. Like, they have seen some nuts ones. Let's just say it as it is. So definitely they are they know what they're talking about. Let's just put it that way. They genuinely know what they're talking about. Yeah, he was bodying players off the ball, and to some extent, as I'm talking about Miles Lewis Skelly, I need to give credit to Gabi Martinelli, because he was as good as he was going forwards, and I think the defensive effort from Martinelli together with Skelly will be overlooked. And what I mean by that is the fact that whenever Real Madrid went forward through the right side, obviously against Skelly, first player to play against Rodrigo was actually Martinelli to some extent. To basically allow Miles Lewis Skelly to be in the shape and focus on the fact that Valverde will be on an overlap or a cut-in, underlapping him. And he can focus on him, and Martinelli is gonna focus on Rodrigo. And if Rodrigo gets past Martinelli, Skelly is ready to make the tackle. They worked in a very, very big tangent. Let's be real. Because before the game, that left side was the biggest worry for me personally. Kivior, Skelly, Martinelli, even Rice to some extent. Because remembering how Rice played against Bayern Munich, it was a worry for me. I'm not gonna lie. But those doubts were squashed pretty much in the first 15 minutes of the game. When they made tackles, dispossessions, defensive efforts, going forward. And of course, we are not even talking about the second half. Because second half was utter and total dominance. And I'm not gonna lie, this was the best Arsenal game I have seen us play. I don't even know, for about 8-9 years, if not more. And obviously lots of rides of the Champions League quarterfinals, and more importantly it's Real Madrid. But definitely in the last decade, arguably this could be the best game I have seen from Arsenal. Because this game had everything. We were underdogs with injuries. We had no right winning this game to some extent, as people were saying. It's quarterfinals, it's Champions League, and it's Real Madrid. Because we all know that Arsenal in Champions League, it's just not mix. It's like mixing water with oil. It just doesn't mix. We have seen this over the years. We have been to one Champions League final in the last 20 years. And that was in 2006. And obviously we then beat Real Madrid on the way and then until the Barcelona. And we were legitimately millimeters away from winning that Champions League final as well. Until that ref, I don't know what happened there and everything, but hey, it is what it is. We're not gonna get into match fixing and buying refs and everything, right? UEFA loan and all that. But for the overall package, I think this has been the best Arsenal game I have seen in the last decade. Arguably. Yeah, cheeky Camavinga fed a double nutmeg, rattled Jude as well and just walked away, didn't get involved in anything to get the yellow. Because Skelly was, I think, as well on a yellow infringement. Cap de Villa, man, the days. Rice was tired at Bayern. Yeah, that is the case. Rice was tired to some extent, yeah, but the way Rice was playing in the beginning of the season as well, I had doubts still. Performances like these basically erase my doubts, because I actually saw Arsenal play proper football yesterday. I saw Arsenal attack, I saw Arsenal defend, football at its finest, let's be real. Obviously 2 free kick goals, it might not happen again and everything, but with the occasion and everything, it's something special, let's just put it that way. Yeah, City 5-1 was a big game, but for me personally, it's more like combination of all of things. Because we destroyed City, we scored 5 and all this stuff. It's all fantastic because we've been destroyed by City as well before, right? And we just returned the favor for at least for a change. And it was at Emirates as well. But for me, more importantly, why for me this Real Madrid game is above the City game, and it's one of the best games I've seen from Arsenal in the arguably the last decade. It's mostly because of the occasion and the statement that it's making about Arsenal in the Europe. Because whether you like it or not, Real Madrid is the team to beat in Champions League, right? It doesn't matter they perform like crap or they are flying. If you beat Real Madrid, it's something special, no matter how you look at it, right? And it's the occasion, the team, the way we did it. It's something different, and it's something you don't see every day. It's something like arguably once in a lifetime type of thing. Because I have seen us play so many games, like genuinely, some I don't even remember. I maybe remember the score, goal scores at best, but I don't remember how we played. And there have been many games that we as Arsenal have lost or drawn when playing football that just brings joy, right? And then obviously under Mikel Arteta in recent times we have won many games that basically makes us cry from pain, but we still win, so that's a bit different. Obviously George Graham type of situation, although George Graham still played very good, very decent football, I'll just put it that way. But yeah, for me with Real Madrid, it's the occasion, it's the team, it's the players that we have, because even if we beat Real Madrid in 2006, right? Fantastic, phenomenal. 1-0 at Bernabeu win because of Titi, and 0-0 at Emirates, right? But if you look at those teams, right? If you look at that team compared to this team, it's like watching night and day basically. That team had names. That team had legends. That team had superstars. This team feels like it's been basically a half-made makeshift team due to injuries and everything. Obviously, in those games as well, Sol Campbell wasn't playing and players like that had injuries there as well. But there were established names in that team. Names that arguably everyone feared to some extent. In this team, we still are, whether you like it or not, even though we have challenged 2.5 seasons in a row and everything, we are still considered a nobody on European stage. Because we are arguably, is it like out there saying that we are the biggest team in Europe that has never won the Champions League to some extent? Like, is it fair to say that we are arguably one of the biggest, if not the biggest team in Europe that has never won the Champions League, that doesn't have a star above our names, above our name? Like, that for me, that means that for me. And if you can beat Real Madrid, right, and eliminate them, definitely that puts extra credit in your bank going forward. That lifts you emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and it actually gives you that belief to some extent that you actually can go and win it. I know I'm sounding like a top gunner, but hey, it is what it is. We beat Real Madrid. I'm gonna sing from the rooftops until we play the second leg, basically. But yeah, Saka was a bit different. Saka was nuts, to be honest, yesterday. He's still limping. He's still not running to the maximum extent. You can see that he loses possession. He doesn't track back. He still just jogs back many times. But he was playing against half alive, basically, David Alaba. And that was very poor choice, obviously, by Carlo Ancelotti. But the thing is, he had nobody to play there. Fran Garcia arguably is more attacking one, which means there will be gaps defensively. And he didn't want that at Emirates, first of all. He could play Camavinga there, but that again means the midfield is absolutely disrupted with the fact that one midfielder is playing right back, other midfielder is playing left back, which means midfield with Chouameni's suspension is pretty much non-existent again. So to some extent he took a gamble and it didn't pay off, in my opinion, at the end of the day. So I guess it is what it is. But yeah, Saka definitely was on one yesterday, and you can see that he's coming back slowly but steadily. He gets some more games. He will start running more and more, full sprint and everything. Once he gets to that, if he gets to that as well, hopefully without any reoccurring injuries, and it will be fantastic, and it's gonna be better for us and better for him. But yesterday, yeah, he cooked Alaba a few times. I still have imprint in my mind how he goes on the corner. Alaba is against him. He drops shoulder to the left. Alaba shifts to the left, and he instantly drops the shoulder and moves down the line, right? And he just low drives across the goal line basically. Courtois cannot do anything because it's just the perfect distance, so Courtois technically cannot reach it. And you can see Merino is somewhere in the middle of the box, so there's no chance in hell he's getting to that ball. Martinelli on the far corner is as well too far from the ball to get to it, and it gets cleared by Rudiger, if I think it was at the time, right? So for me, I still have this imprint in my head that when Saka did that, and then you afterwards see the replay where Saka does that cross and it results into nothing at the end of the day, not even a shot on target, you can see he's annoyed, vexed, pissed, and ready to punch up his whole team, let's be real. So that I have that imprint in my head that if we had actually a striker there, 9 times out of 10 he is in that spot to score that goal. And if Merino can thrive in this setup without never being played as a striker, he can score goals and lead the line, carry us over the line in some games, right? Then, and people still dare to tell me that we don't need a striker? Gyökeres is not the striker? Like, how blind you have to be? Stevie Wonder can see that we need a striker. And if we get that striker who makes those runs when Saka does that low-driven ball, when he gets the ball, one touch, shoot, bang, goal, right? I think that will definitely gives us extra power. Wherever we play, League, Cup, Champions League, wherever we play, if we get this summer 2 midfielders, left winger, a striker, and 2 defenders, I think we will be arguably, to some extent, this close to winning the league. We might actually be there. Nah, I didn't see Berta after the game. What did he do? Because I know Berta was at the game. Roberto Carlos was at the game. What a day, by the way, for Declan Rice. He scored that free kick in front of Roberto Carlos. The guy with the banana shot, man. Like, that's insane, to be honest. Dua Lipa was in the stands, by the way. That's kind of nuts there. Thierry Henry was, of course, there with CBS and everything, so it was kind of nuts. Yeah, Clarence Zerdorf was there too. Quite a few Real Madrid legends were there, by the way. Yeah. What did Berta do, by the way? Tell me, what did Berta do? I want to know. Big up Kwame. Big up. What a night. What a night. It's actually insane. Still feels like a dream. Still feels like a dream. Like to some extent, it's unbelievable. Like, that's kind of insane. Berta was so happy. Dude, Berta was smiling. That's actually kind of nuts. Slapping Arteta on the back like a proud uncle. Like, I get that. I totally get that. The thing is, when we talk about I think Arteta has done 5 interviews since Berta has joined, or 6, right? I'm saying 7, but 6, right? I think he's mentioned Berta once, at most, in those interviews, by the way. And the way before the game, you know, the video surfaced how everyone was training and Berta was in a suit, looking very closely and very directly what players were doing in the training, how it was going. Like, he is here to do business. Going in, coming out, it doesn't matter. If in his eyes you surplus requirements, see ya. That's it. There will be no questions asked. Dude, Declan Rice, what a class act, yeah. Kinda insane. Declan Rice, the most expensive rice in the world is Declan Rice. And to be honest, you know how people say Declan Rice is not a 105 million player, right? He's about 60, 70 at best. And I totally agree with that, right? But at the end of the day, when you overpay for a certain player, these type of moments, when he does stuff like this, is the reason why you overpay for certain players to score these type of goals. This is the reason why. Because he scored 2 clutch goals, which have partially decided the whole Champions League fixture. Let's be real, the quarterfinal fixture. Yeah, same. I don't want to ever hear people even mention Caicedo and say, yeah, don't want to hear that as well. Never, ever, ever, ever again. He plays tomorrow, by the way, for Chelsea, doesn't he? In Conference League and all that crap. Comparing Madueke to Saka, dude, that is kind of nuts. Dude. Like, Madueke has as much skill as Saka. Overall, Madueke has as much skill as Saka has in one leg, basically. And that leg as well is injured, ironically enough. But yeah, by the way, From this point forward, I never, ever, ever, ever want to see Martin Odegaard on free kicks ever again. Just saying this right now. How comes he has been on free kicks for all this time and nobody else has been allowed to take it? I have no idea. It might be reactionary, but I don't give a crap. It was Real Madrid. It was against Courtois, top 3 goalkeeper in the world, whether you like it or not. Declan Rice should be taking our free kicks. Declan Rice should be taking our free kicks. And by the way, did you hear what the interview with Declan Rice? Like, they were talking, Odegaard said, cross the ball. He looked at Jover, he said, cross the ball and everything. And Declan Rice said, he looked at the wall, the goalkeeper, he said, you know what? I'm going to go for it. And he looked at Bukayo Saka, and Bukayo Saka said, if you feel it, go for it. He totally ignored what captain said in Odegaard and what Jover said and everyone else, and he just went for it. And let's be real, it was the right decision, whether you like it or not. It was the right decision. It paid off big time. Obviously, in these situations, if you pull this stunt, you better goddamn score, right? So he did, and it came off brilliantly. So, yeah, give him the armband too. Gabriel or Declan Rice, one of the two. I think Thomas Partey should be... Yeah, same. We should sign young Nico Williams. I can see that. For me, the biggest thing is, when you watch a Thomas Partey's performance from yesterday, right? From yesterday, Thomas Partey's performance. I kind of looked at it in a maze, let's be real. And I know he's leaving, at least for now, for free at the end of the season. And I was thinking, we need a number 6, right? Is there a number 6 in a world football who can put in this kind of performance to get us over the line, defensively more specifically? Is there that kind of a guy? Which could we sign for 60, 70, 80 million, who can get us over the line in these situations, who can cement our defense, who is press proven, who is physical, technical, strong on the ball, and can, with ease, with thread the needle type passes, connect our defense to our attack. Is there that type of a player? That for me is the biggest thing. And at the moment, yes, there might be some glimpses of youth players, younger players who are between 18 and 22, who potentially might grow into it. But we don't have time for this grow into it type of shit. The phase 2 type of players. We need players who can step in right now. Instant replacement, without any questions asked. And I'm struggling to find one. That for me is the biggest thing. Hence why I agree with Kwame as well, and I said this earlier in the stream, and Nathan also agrees, that Partey should be given an extra year contract. Definitely. Now the biggest thing is, does he take salary cut? Because he's on a what, 200, 220 grand a week at the moment? Does he take salary cut or what? Because this for me is the big question. Next year he's going to be older. He has played quite a bit this season, let's be real. At some point he's going to get injured. Unfortunately, but that's going to be the case. And then what we going to do? Agume is closest, but still... Yeah, exactly. He needs years to develop. Let's just say we signed Partey when we signed him, and Agume was the youngster back then, and we signed him as the understudy for Thomas Partey. I have no problem. Genuinely have no problem. But right now, it's not gonna work. Gabriel with the English struggles won't work. Yeah, that is the biggest thing. Gabriel is still struggling with his English. I think that is arguably for him, and that's the only argument I can imagine, that is his only drawback. Why he can't be the captain yet. The issue with that is he might not be captain at all, because he actually might leave before it comes to tuition. That is the other thing, with Saudi interest and everything. I hope we learn the lesson with Rice. Spend the big bucks on quality. Yeah, for these type of games. Yeah, exactly. Because this will sound a bit cocky, right? But we have enough quality. We should have enough quality in the team to win about 80% against 80% of the teams in Premier League. First things first. You buy Declan Rice for the rest of the 20% against your Liverpools, against your Cities, against, well, back then, but not now, as much Chelsea, United, Spuds, Everton, no Everton, sorry, Newcastle, Aston Villa, in Champions League, Madrid, Bayern Munich. You buy him for those 20% more specifically. Because he has that ability, he has that unique, special trait to do something like this out of nowhere and to get you over the line. That's why you pay the big bucks. That's why. Because for me, Declan Rice is 60, 70 player million at max. We paid 105, so 35 million more. Those 35 million comes in these clutch situations. When he scores the winner against Luton Town last year. When he scores 2 free kicks this year. Against Real Madrid yesterday. And stuff like that. This is when you pay the big bucks, of course. Next season, the lineup. Riot, Simba, Saliba, Gabriel, Skelly, Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Saka, Gyökeres, and Williams. I'm not gonna lie, if it was up to me, I would sell Odegaard. But hey, it's a bit... that's a complete different stream and a complete different story. I'm not gonna lie. That is complete different stream and a complete different story. I heard was it yesterday? Yesterday, I think. It was on Lee Gunner's stream, right? Martin Odegaard in 11 or 12 years. 11, 12? 12? I think no. 8 or 9 years, sorry. 8 or 9 years at Norway's international team, right? Has 3 goals. 3 bloody or 4 bloody goals. Like, imagine that. Only 3 or 4 bloody goals in his whole career in the Norway international team. That doesn't sit well with me, I'm not gonna lie. Don't buy Sheshko just because he's half price of Isak. Exactly. For me, buy Gyökeres. He's there. Osimhen is there. Both cost around 70 million. Let's be real. Isak will cost 140. We can buy Isak and... No, sorry, we can buy Osimhen and Gyökeres for that money, by the way. Hey. But genuinely, as I said, it's not how much money you spend, it's how you spend it. And for one Isak, you can buy a striker and a winger. You can buy a striker and number 6. You can buy 2 defenders and a midfielder, by the way, if you want to look at it that way. So, yeah. It's kinda actually insane if you come to think of it. So, Champions League, Borussia Dortmund losing 1-0 to Barcelona. Rafinha scored from Kubrasi's assist. PSG Aston Villa is 1-1. Rogers scored and Desiree Doué scored. Marlon probably is watching Desiree Doué play right now, by the way. Just saying it right now. But yeah. It is kind of phenomenal. Let's see. But... okay. Who was your man of the match for the game? Just out of curiosity. Because obviously Declan Rice won man of the match. He scored 2 free kicks and everything. Let's just forget about Declan Rice. After Declan Rice, because he's as obvious as the sun is during the day, right? If you take away that, who was your man of the match? Besides Declan Rice, who was your man of the match for the game? If you exclude Declan Rice. Just curious. Just curious. Exactly, it is hard to choose, and that's why I'm asking. Because Declan Rice is the obvious answer in this regard, right? So I want to see after Declan Rice, who is your man of the match? That is the one. But because let's be real, there is no wrong answer unless you pick Odegaard. I'm not gonna lie, but there is no wrong answer in this situation. I'm not gonna lie. So pick your poison and see what happens. Pick your poison and see what happens. Haaland between Saka and Miles Lewis Skelly. Pick one. Pick one. It's between Saka and Miles Lewis Skelly for you. You're gonna pick each of them, to be honest, based on what they did and what they provided, can easily be man of the match without shadow of a doubt. I'm just curious. For you, it's Bukayo Saka. Basically, the 2-1 free kicks against Alaba and against Camavinga Both of them resulted in Declan Rice's goal, ironically enough. And of course, the time he was cooking Alaba on the right wing. I get that. I totally get that. I totally and utterly get that. So for you, it's Bukayo Saka. Declan Rice, my man of the match last night. There were other. Okay, Kwame. Imagine Declan Rice is not there because he's the obvious answer. Pick man of the match after Declan Rice. I just put it that way. After Declan Rice. Besides Declan Rice, pick your man of the match. But we dominated their attack in midfield because of what... Yeah, that is the thing. Each of the players pretty much has a very strong argument. You could even argue Kivior could be man of the match to some extent. Thomas Partey. Yeah, I think because of Declan Rice and how Miles Lewis-Skelly did, Saka did, and everything, I think to some extent Kivior is going... Thomas Partey is going under the radar as the performance he put in yesterday. I kind of see it as well today. I have seen about 15 streams today, about 20 odd videos regarding from Arsenal fans regarding yesterday's game, and I'm not gonna lie, about 3 of them have mentioned Thomas Partey. About 3 of them. So that just shows how underrated his performance was. That is the big thing. Yeah, see, nobody's talking about Partey. I noticed that, and that's kind of nuts. But that obviously is the big thing. That has been quite a big thing also defensively for us. If you think about it, for the longest time, everyone was praising Saliba as the center back, right? And nobody was paying too much attention to Gabriel. And in the last year, Saliba's performances have dipped a bit, and Gabriel has come out on top. And all of a sudden, everyone acts like Gabriel is the next best thing since sliced bread. But he's always been there. It's just the fact that nobody was paying attention to him. Because just because Saliba was doing a keepy up, a cold turn with level head when he was under pressure, or nutmeg a forward just to go on the counter or something like that, just because of that. Gabriel mostly got recognition because of goals from corners. That's predominantly why he got the recognition. But if you take away the goals, nobody pretty much doesn't mention him, his positioning, locking up the attackers from the other team, the blocking the shots, goal line clearances, defensive positioning, and how he dictates the players, how they stand in line and together, and how he commands the back line. Many things go miss, let's just put it that way to some extent. So that's the way I see it. So for Nathan, Saka is the man of the match after Declan Rice. For Kwame, it is Thomas Partey. Okay, my turn into this, right? I'm gonna go for something different. I'm gonna go for Mikel Arteta. Mikel Arteta is my man of the match. Because we kept a clean sheet. The player pick, the starting 11 was spot on. The tactics were fantastic. We pressed at a team when we needed to, when the opportunity presented itself. We dropped back and defended as a unit when the opportunity again was necessary and it presented itself. We could have been ahead, obviously could have been behind at the first half. However, the things he did for the second half, how he did them, that Real Madrid almost felt, I don't know, like Southampton basically in the second half to some extent. That is all credit to Mikel Arteta. Because it was evident that he changed something in the tactics. I haven't watched the game back, so I can compare basically the first to second half of what and how he did, right? But he changed something. Either it was in the shape, or it was how we move into spaces to cover some passing lanes and press together. But something really disrupted and annoyed Real Madrid to such an extent that it felt like they gave up on certain level. not visibly maybe, but mentally. And it's kind of insane. I know it sounds very weird because it's Real Madrid, their mentality monsters and everything, but it genuinely felt that way. Because in second half, I never got that feeling, that scare, that fright inside of me that any given moment now Real Madrid are gonna make it 1-1 or they're gonna be ahead 2-1. Never ever. As soon as we scored, we were creating chances. Courtois were keeping in the game. Real Madrid almost did nothing. We scored a goal, and you could see Real Madrid players' heads drop. And after that, we just gained more momentum and kept the steamroll going. And it worked, and everything as a cohesion, as a togetherness, as a unit, together with the tactics, it worked to perfection. So for me, man of the match, ironically enough, is Mikel Arteta. Yes, I still want the guy out, I'm not gonna lie, but credit where credit is due for yesterday. Yo, Nathan, don't call me a top gunner now. Arteta taking back that number 8 jersey. No. We are going to press on them next week. Real Madrid are finished. Yeah, big up Troy, by the way. Big up Troy. And next week it will be very interesting because arguably if you had to put money on any team to come back from being 3-0 down, it's Real Madrid, right? Because it is Real Madrid. Based on the performance we saw at Emirates, no chance in hell. Because they play very similar in La Liga and they struggle as well. Just in La Liga, they kind of get it over the line somehow. But at Bernabeu, we are not just going to play against Real Madrid. We're going to play against, well, Aura, if you want to call it that way, because it's Bernabeu, it's Real Madrid. We're going to play against the heritage. We're going to play against the fans. And this will sound very weird, but we're going to play against the refs as well. Because whenever I watch Real Madrid, there is something weird going on with the referees and their decision making when any team plays in Bernabeu. Either it's Champions League, either it's La Liga, Copa del Rey, whatever it is. There always some sort of random questionable decision going on, just like in Premier League. And that is one thing I'm really scared. Because there could be a random red card, random yellow that is not a yellow that results in the end in a red or something like that. Something like that might happen. But even despite that, Real Madrid is one of those teams that they can turn 3-0 into a 3-3 very quickly. However, big advantage for Arsenal is that we don't concede many goals. We haven't conceded more than 2 goals in over a year, if I'm not mistaken, in official competitions, right? And the ball is on our court because, obviously, one thing I don't want to do is invite pressure. That's the worst thing we can do. Let's be real at Bernabeu. We need to play our game and keep it very similar, well, not the same, but very similar like we played at Emirates. And Real Madrid needs to attack. They need to score 3 goals, whether they like it or not. So at the end of the day, if we manage to catch them out and we can make it 4-0 before they score the first goal, I think after that, the tie is done. If we score the 4th goal at the Bernabeu before they score their first and make it 3-1 on aggregate, I think it's done. Next week must go to the Bernabeu and compete. Yeah, we need to go and complete our mission. Yeah. Opta supercomputer is saying that we are 94% through. 94%, which means they give Real Madrid still 6% chance of going through against us. If it was any other team, maybe besides Barcelona, it would be much, much less. Let's just put it that way. It's just the fact that it's Real Madrid and they have done it before is why they are that highly rated. So, time on obviously only will tell, but for the next week, we can enjoy ourselves to the maximum extent. The thing is, hopefully the game against Brentford in the middle doesn't screw us over. Because although the season is done, I don't want to put it on a whimper. Let's just say it as it is. I don't want to end on a whimper nowhere. The Schlorberg links are serious. Could be the Gabriel replacement. I'd love if we can pull. By the way, Schlotterbeck is injured at the moment. I think he has a hamstring or what? He is not playing. He's injured. I read it today. He has some sort of an injury. Nico Schlotterbeck. Wait, let me check. Yeah, he has a teared meniscus. He is out for half a year. He is out till October, if not more. Schlotterbeck is out for half a year. Not sure I want that. I'm not gonna lie, not sure I want that. Let's just put it that way. Who will be in your lineup for next season? Actually don't know. I'm actually don't know. I kid you not. If I had to basically, if it was up to me, right? It would be Ryan goal, Timba, Saliba, Gabriel, Skelly, Partey, Rice, Wirtz, Saka, Gyökeres, let's just say it, Nico Williams, for the sake of an argument. And that's actually, it actually could be, wait, Wirtz would be about 120, Gyökeres is about 70, so that's 190. And if we sign Williams, that's about 50. That's 240, that's doable easily. And if we actually manage to sell under Berta, that actually could work. Obviously, we still need a backup goalkeeper. We need another 2 more defenders, 2 more midfielders. I would extend Partey's deal for 1 more year, but he needs a backup, so we need a proper number 6 still. Yeah, that is rough for him. He has a torn meniscus and he's out. I think that is genuinely, that is one of the reasons why, as well, Borussia Dortmund has less of a chance against Barcelona, 100%. Paid the money with you, champ. Yeah, wait, we don't even need. Apparently, according to rumors, we have 300 million war chest promised to Berta. That alone can sign Gyökeres, Williams, Wirtz. Then we include sales, we get Champions League money, we can sign someone else if we need. Number 6, and Ederson, Bruno Guimaraes, and crap like that we also can sign. By the way, today I saw a link. I'm not going to show it on the screen because it's a bit vague, but bear with me here, right? I saw a link today that according to TBR Football, true or not, pick your poison, Arsenal are tracking Rafael Leao, allegedly. And the other one is, which is very, very massive for me because I really would love to see this guy at Arsenal, right? Is this guy. I'm gonna actually show it because, well, I can. It's not fixed, but bear with me here. It's this guy. It is this guy. Apparently, Arsenal are preparing an offer worth of 30 million euros for Arda Güler, who is not happy with his limited game time. If this comes to tuition, bro, you better goddamn sign him. I would love for Arda Güler to join Arsenal. I would absolutely love it. Not sure if it's gonna happen or not, obviously, but hey, here we go, and all this stuff. So time only will tell. So yeah, that is one of those basically. Wait, yeah, this one off. This one. That is one of those I would love for Arsenal to sign. Rise, Zubimendi, double pivot, Güler in the 10, dude. Odegaard sold, hehe. He was at Emirates, I know he fell in love. To be honest, Gyökeres' agent was in the Emirates yesterday. According to rumors and reports, Victor Gyökeres' agent was at the Emirates yesterday. Together with Berta and all them, man. Apparently. So there is hope. There is hope that we actually might sign a bloody striker, you know? There is actual goddamn hope. But hey, it is what it is. Time only will tell, of course. But yeah, Arda, man, he's too good to not play. Exactly, he's too good. to not to playing. Like, I like Arda Güler, I like Brahim Diaz, man. If only Isco was about 6 years younger, I would sign him at Arsenal. Isco still to this day is one of my most favorite players in the last decade and a half, since 2010 arguably, 2011, let's just say it that way. Still, Isco is still one of my favorite players to this day. Absolutely fell in love with that, with his ability to play football when he was at Malaga. Remember the Malaga uprising in Spanish football with Demichelis, with Camacho, Joaquin, Roque Santa Cruz, Bravo, Idris Kameni in goal. No, Bravo was at Sociedad, never mind. Idris Kameni, I think it was in goal or something like that. Obviously, they had, as I said, Isco and that Champions League semi-final against Borussia Dortmund and everything, dude. Those were the days, you know. Those were the bloody goddamn days. If only we could play career mode, dude. If only. IRL Emirates edition. If only. To be honest, I sometimes when I play career mode on FIFA EAFC, right? One thing I do, right, is I genuinely, as free agents, put out everyone. Saka, Odegaard, all these players, right? Besides Ethan Vanieri and some other youngsters we have there, right? You know, your Dewberries and all this stuff, recall from loans, all the youngsters like Hein and everyone, right? Put Arsenal into League 2, right? And only go career mode through Youth Academy. That's it. No signings from anywhere else. If there are objectives necessary, obviously you can turn them off for now, and you can also turn off the ability to be sacked these days, right? But overall, I just put them in League 2, only use talent, and just grow through the academy and see where it takes me. No signings, no nothing. Just the Youth Academy, training, and all this stuff. One of my guilty pleasures. I do that with Arsenal. I tend to rebuild, for example, one of my favorite clubs in Spain, Deportivo La Coruña, or UD Almeria, Union Deportiva Almeria. Seems like that. Sometimes I do Valencia. Like, I tend to do, like, you know, the old school teams that were very, very good and all this stuff, but they have fallen from grace. Like, those type of situations. Hamburger Sportverein HSV in Bundesliga 2, who were relegated and now have been battling promotion for 7 years, always finishing one place behind promotion, always losing in the playoffs and everything, all this stuff. You know the days. Or Schalke, when Schalke had Huntelaar, Raul, and all these guys. Draxler, remember him when we were linked with Julian Draxler? Like those days. Yeah, those days. But yeah, it's actually kind of nuts when you think about it. All these what-if scenarios. Oh, PSG scored 2-1. Kvaratskhelia has scored for PSG 2-1. And Barcelona are 2-0 up. Lewandowski has scored. Just saying, if you are not following it. I always like the German players, proper warriors. Yeah. Thomas Muller scored yesterday. Proper baller. Very underrated in my opinion, Thomas Muller, in that regard. But yeah, anyways, I'm not gonna lie. In this, I think we have talked about everything. It's been kind of insane. So, I'm not gonna lie. Let's enjoy the 3-0 win, the destruction of Real Madrid. It's not just a win, let's be real. It's also a statement that we are here. We are ready to take what should be ours, what should have been ours 20 years ago almost, 19 years ago against Barcelona. Let's be real. Imagine if we make it actually to the finals and we play Barcelona once again. Imagine the scenes. We could actually change the history, how it should have been. We should have won that. We were legitimately this close to winning the Champions League. But then, yeah, rather not think about that. But yeah, anyways. If you guys haven't already, smash the like button. Smash it, destroy it, caress it for the dub against Real Madrid. Subscribe if you're new around here and hyped about the Champions League and all this stuff. Obviously, we're gonna do the preview for the second leg come early next week because we play on Wednesday. We're gonna have a preview for Brentford game, if I'm not mistaken, when we are playing Brentford, on Saturday or a Sunday. We're playing Brentford on Saturday, late kickoff, which is great, so the game will finish just before I usually go live. So, Tomorrow, I kid you not, tomorrow there might be no stream because I reinstalled my Windows, right? I reinstalled my Windows and I need to forcefully update it to the latest update because I'm sick and tired of certain things not working and not being as it should be before I reinstalled it. So I have one of the old versions when the Windows 10 just came out, so I need to upgrade it up until the latest update, Windows 11 and all that crap. So I'm gonna do that tomorrow most likely. So no stream for me tomorrow. I'm very sorry about that. I usually don't do these type of things, but for the sake of the stream, for its sake being more convenient for me, more convenient for you as well, I'm gonna do it because I cannot do, for example, screen capture. You don't see, for example, I cannot do Mikel Arteta interviews. I can't do tweets from transfers and everything. I can just do screen caps and everything. It's really bothering me because that doesn't, it's not very free fluid in that regard for the stream, for engagement and everything. And I know it also annoys you as well to some extent. So yeah, I think that's the plan for today and tomorrow. If I manage to do it in time, by the way, if it manages to download and install, because it looks like it's gonna be about 2.5 hours, so I don't know. If it happens in time, I might be live tomorrow. Time only will tell. But yeah, for now, tomorrow's stream is not in the making, for now at least. But yeah, for today, that will be it. Smash the like, subscribe, leave your thoughts down in comments below. Take care and see you all very, very, very soon. Big up everyone. Arsenal have destroyed Real Madrid. Pray for Madrid, you know.